So some of you may or may not know that I ran a slimming club for 15 years with the Rosemary Conley Diet and Fitness Clubs. And this was, I started life as a fitness instructor. And then I realized that people just wanted to lose weight. And whenever you exercise them, all their topics were about losing weight. I want to exercise because I want to lose weight. And so there, I found the franchise, Rosemary Conley in Derby was for sale, and I bought it in 2000, year 2000 it was. And yeah, for good 15 years, I ran a really, really well attended fitness and diet club. So basically what we did was everyone weighed in at the beginning, and many of you did it with me, I know that. And then we had a little talk, 5-10 minutes, about weight loss and also everything to do with that. And then we exercised at the end, and this was aimed at people that had never exercised or really was at the start of their slimming journey. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because I have masses of experience of helping ladies to lose weight, and it's I can't think of a good describing word for how challenging it is. But you can imagine it's quite challenging, and there's lots and lots of beliefs around weight loss which in the end were quite draining, if I'm honest. And it was quite it wasn't very positive atmosphere. So when Rosemary Conley went bankrupt, we were allowed to go loose, and that's when I became Alive Fitness, which was 5 years ago. And I decided that I was going to focus more on the 40+ woman, because those women were the ones that were having much harder time of losing that midsection gain. And also, even if they'd lost weight, they started to gain it again around the area. And I wanted to go out and find out why this was, what I could do to help them, and find that, and then work out a system that would help them. Now, again, I don't know why I do this, but I challenge myself completely, because this is a really difficult subject. So hands up those have reached the age of 40+, 50, 60, 70, 80, and you notice that round the midsection, you've got a bit thicker, or your tummy is more bulgy or bloated. Put your hands up, yeah. Has everyone got their hands up? Yeah, okay, good. Great, you're in the right place, I hope. So first of all, when I was with the Slimming Club, and many Slimming Clubs did this, Slimming World, anyone, put your hand up who did Slimming World, Weight Watchers, any of those nice places? Yeah, okay. So you did them all. We were the third most famous in the country at that time. Mainly because people didn't really want to exercise, so they came to us last. And we found that, you know, those systems, they gave you a diet plan and you followed it. And you followed it for months and months and months on end. Every week there was, this is the plan, this is what you stick to, and this is how you're going with it. And people lost weight really well, really well. And then sadly, they came off it and then they gained the weight. And generally that could happen at any age group. So my system is a starter system. I'm going to call it a starter system, because I want you to find the right eating for you. And now, over the 5 years of talking about this, has become more relevant in sort of society and social media, talking about you've got to be a diet detective and making sure that you find the right thing that works for you, because what suits me might not suit Janet. And then therefore Helen might need a different system, or Joe needs to focus on something else. And so this is where it becomes very personalized. Now, it's tricky because you've got to trial and error things. There's no golden bullet here, but there's a system you can start with. So this is a starter system, and then we trial and error things as we go along. Now, what I'm going to do with my sharing the screen now is talk about why are we getting that section gain. And you know me, I like to find out the reasons why, and it motivates me more to do it. So menopause, here we go. Now, we've done lots of talks on menopause over the lockdown. You may want to go back into the video library and find some of those talks. There's one specifically all about menopause and all its different symptoms. But there's a few little facts about menopause and what happens there. But generally, and here's some symptoms here as well, what happens to your body. I'm not going to go into deep with these, but what I'm trying to get at here, lots of things are changing. They call it the change. Your body is changing. The system is changing, mainly because we have lost some main, or lost, not, that's the wrong word. The hormones are very erratic. They can decline, they can surge, and they affect your body because hormones, these are the main ones we're looking at, tend to be, well, they're little messages to your body. So they send messages to all sorts of different systems and organs around your body. And if one of those is not as efficient, if you imagine a hormone like a little man and he's running around, but he's broken his leg and he's not getting there as fast, you can see how, you know, your body will change. And there's so many things that are related to particularly estrogen. And estrogen is the main player when we're talking about hormones. Now, estrogen can, let me just go back here. So that's why I put a picture of an orchestra at the bottom. They need to work in a synchronicity. Is that the word? Yes. Like an orchestra, they need to flow. They need to be like dominoes all stacked up, you know, and they need to like flow together. If one of those dominoes is taken away, you can see that that domino falling wouldn't be as good. Or if you say you took the trumpet away, the tune wouldn't be as good, would it? So these all need to work right. Now, when one is a little bit more depleted, so say for instance, estrogen is dropping, then other ones become inflated, so they become higher, they become bigger in your body, and you become more susceptible. Now, one of the kingpins here is this cortisol, and this is the main stress hormone. We've talked a lot about it over the last few weeks. It's a major player, and it's one we need to manage more than ever, and this definitely plays a role in weight gain. And here how it works, because your insulin, which is your sugar regulator, works with the cortisol, and then you can get some belly fat. That's how it is. Now, if you downloaded my little booklet, let me take a get that booklet. I have actually put it into the group so that you can download this. And you can download this on one of my web pages, and it goes into your belly fat and all about insulin on that page there. So I'll leave it with you, but basically that's what's happening. And this is just a little slide that I got from some training I did in the States. That's why they're calling it estrogen without an O. So here we go. We went through the menopause. Your estrogen can decrease, and then progesterone, which is your calming hormone, can decrease, but then increase your testosterone, or the next day that can completely mix around again. But what it is your body becomes more stress reactive because of those other three main hormones that are very erratic. And so it becomes more insulin resistant, which means that your body isn't reacting to the sugars that you're eating, or they're reacting in a very different way. And then you gain fat around the middle. So what we like to do first is we want to know where you're at now. Before we become that diet detective, we need to know what's going on now, right now, with your eating. So what I've asked you to do is to print out this little wheel. Now, if you can't do this now and you haven't printed out, that's fine. But we've done this before in my classes, and it's been a really successful way to relate to what's happening in your body. Now, again, this list of these things are in that little booklet. Let me show you the page. Here is my little 10-step system, and this is all about nutrition. Now we're talking nutrition. Here's a bigger version of it, so it gives me some notes to work from today. So what I've looked at is the different areas of nutrition that you're putting into your body. You know, I always say nutrition first. Let's start with what the food's going into the body, and then the stress management thing comes with that as well. But that's a different talk completely. I think we've talked already about that. So first of all, the number one is about your sugar. Now, when they used to come to the Slimming Club, it was always the obvious thing, wasn't it? It's always the obvious thing. Oh, I need to go on a diet. And the belief is just take out your sweets and your biscuits, and that'll do it. And generally that can really work, especially for your 20s and your 30s. It's when you get your 40s beyond, that's just not enough. It doesn't work as efficiently, but sugar is definitely a main player, and we could do with removing it anyway for all of the other health benefits that we've talked about over the weeks. Remember, anything to do with your heart is the same to do with your brain. All the foods are good for that as well, but also the side effect is weight loss, which is what we're talking about today. So that's sugar. So what you want to do is you want to put a little cross on that line from the center of this wheel to the exterior, and put have you remove, you know, score yourself 1 to 10 basically on whether you have removed sugar from your life basically. So this isn't just your added sugar, just think about all of those things that are hidden sugars. So your processed foods generally can have hidden sugar in them, so just check that you're doing that as well. So be honest with yourself and score yourself just for the last previous 7 days. Where are you on the sugar scale? Number 2 is the next most important thing. Now, I've done them in this order because this is the way my experience of working with ladies, it's working well. Again, it's always adapting. This list is always adapting and moving and evolving. The more women I work with, well, I can change it. So water, again, is a very hidden thing that people just aren't drinking enough. Again, we've talked about this a lot over the last few weeks, but again, score yourself. We want 8 glasses a day. So large glasses if you can, 8 glasses, and try to have it so that it doesn't have any cordial in it, or don't use the fizzy waters or tonic water, that doesn't count. And tea and coffee doesn't count either. So you want to make sure that we are getting in all of the nutrients, but also with the water, it helps to get your nutrients to absorb into the body, and every single cell needs that water, and your brain really needs that water. That's a big one. So be honest with yourself. What have you done with your water? Now, you could go for herbal teas. That is a one you can actually have. Next one is your process. I'm whizzing through this, but you might want to look through the book. They're all written down in there. The next one is your processed foods. Now, again, this is the additives. Now, if you're having lots of additives in your life, your liver is going to be compromised. And past 40, because of these, the hormone changes, the liver is not as efficient as it used to be. So we want to keep that liver clean, fresh, easy to all the foods that you're putting in there, so it doesn't have to work hard at processing them. So processed foods, unfortunately, are full of additives, sugar, salt, all of the things that we don't want, trans fats, and they can really, you know, stagnate that liver. We don't want that to happen. We want to keep fresh. So get rid of your processed foods. So have a look at what you're eating every day in a packet, a can, or anything that's in a packet really, and have a look at how many ingredients are on the back of that packet. Now, my little guideline, I'm saying these are guidelines because there's obviously some caveats here all along, but the guideline is look at the back of the packet. If on there it says ingredients, there's 5 or less, then we go with it. Now, again, if it's something like, I don't know, what example can I use? Here we go. Malted shredded wheat cereals, right? I don't know how many ingredients. It's probably only got 5 or something. I don't know. I haven't eaten them for years. But have a look at the piece of food and think, where's that come from? Can I tell where it's come from? Probably not, because they look like bales of cardboard, don't they? And I always think, well, okay, it's got wheat and all that, but it's obviously been stuck together with something. And what is that glue they've used? So really start to look at your cupboards, have a look at what you're eating, and try to remove it as much as possible and get a fresh version in instead. Again, score yourself 1 to 10. Now, the next one is because your body somehow becomes more hungry, and the reason is because ghrelin and leptin, which are your little hormones that either fill you up, it's like a button that tells you you're full or a button that tells you that you're hungry, they become very, very sort of loose. Okay, so if you're someone who gets hungrier, much hungrier, protein is a really good way to start your day, particularly your day. So if we can get protein at every meal, good quality that is, then you will feel fuller for longer. You're less likely to snack on the sugar in between, and it's all about leveling out that insulin. Like we said, we want the insulin to be nice and calm. We want to do stress management for your cortisol, and then we start to see your body working better. So the biggest issue with this one is your breakfast. We've got a whole tip on breakfast in a moment, so I won't go into breakfast, but think about the protein that you're having at your meals, and get a lot of plant protein as well in. So these are things like your nuts, your seeds, your pulses, so your lentils, your beans, your chickpeas, your butter beans, all of those kind of things. And why not have, you know, a couple of days where you're just having plant protein rather than animal protein as well. It's not a bad thing. Again, it's something we've talked about a lot. We have trialed this in lockdown, me and my family, and for 10 days we've had just plant protein as our food. You know, we have no fish. Oh, we had some fish, not so much though, mainly plant protein. Let me just see if there's someone trying to come in. I don't know how to do this. Hold on. 10, oh, Robin's asking, is 10 good or bad? So 10 is if you're doing it really good. Yeah. As in you've eaten lots of sugar. So some of these are higher and lower. It's a good point though, Robin. So if you've eaten a really, you know, you eat some good protein every meal, you could score yourself 10. Now, vegetables, again, we've talked about these. They're elixir of your brain, of your heart, of your healthy body generally. They ward off cancer. They do everything. And get some good quality if you can. I've got a farm shop up the road that, not a farm shop, it's actually a plastic free shop. And now they've started to do fruit and veg, locally grown with the delicious, had the carrots last night. I've never tasted anything like them. So try and find some really good source of, doesn't have to be organic. I mean, if you want to go to organic, yes, obviously that's the next level, but I'm trying to make this achievable for everyone. I don't want you to go, oh God, I've got to have organic, it's costing a lot of money. You know, we can have lots of veg from Aldi, not so great, you know, not so expensive, and you can fill your life up. So we're thinking about 30 different varieties a week. Another time we will do the vegetable challenge. We did it at the early days of lockdown. We'll do it again. Next one is your protein breakfast. Now, I have used this as its own little tip because I believe over the years of 15, 20 now, actually, of helping ladies to eat correctly, the protein breakfast is the winner. It's the winner to that insulin leveling out. So think about what you can have for breakfast for instead of having cereal. So the no-nos, I don't like to talk about no-nos, but this is an easy win if you can get this licked. So try not to have your cereals and your bread at breakfast, because what happens to cereals and bread and anything carbohydrate in that way, white or beige foods, they shoot the insulin up just like sugar. So the sugar, I mean, obviously we've put that as 0.1, but this also relates to us now. We're over 40 because our body's not as efficient, and it's almost looking at a piece of bread like it's a bit of sugar. So that's the easiest way to, we'll talk about carbs in a moment. So how can you get some protein into your breakfast? That is the key one. I think it's easy to have it at lunch and it's easy to have it at dinner time, but what is happening at breakfast? So things like total Greek yogurt is a good one, with some nuts and seeds. You could go for porridge, because porridge is plant protein. It's not cereal. Well, it is classed as cereal, but try and think of it like get some clean as possible. Really, if you can go for the really big oats, you know, the big bumper jumbo ones, they are really good because they take longer to cook, but there's a reason for that. So let's just okay, just checking, got a text here all the time. What else can you have? You could have eggs. Now, there was a thing back in the slimming days, there was a period of time, this is, you see, the thing is, because I've been in this diet club for all those years, I've seen the waves of change of losing weight. And one of the times it was like, don't eat eggs, they're going to give you lots of cholesterol, you're going to die if you eat eggs. But you're not. So now the new guidelines are you can eat eggs if they suit you. Again, I wouldn't eat everything the same every day, to try and get the variety into your life, and go with eggs 2 or 3 times a week, and then go with porridge a bit, and then go with yogurt a bit, and just mix it around, because your body works like it's like a thermostat. So if you get to eat the same things all the time, it will just level out. It's like a thermostat, it gets used to it. So we want to challenge your metabolism all the time, and again, this becomes more challenging at this time of our lives. So your protein breakfast is a key one to keep you full first thing in the morning, and then you're not less likely to snack. And when you've eaten your food, see how you feel after it. Do you feel satisfied? Are you craving more things? Is it in your mouth, the craving? There's lots of things we can look at. Now, fats. Now, I've used this one as its own little step, and that's step 7, because, and this is mainly because a lot of my ladies that are still with me were with me in the Rosemary days. And in Rosemary days, we had low-fat diet, which is not good for us. It really is not. And if you were at the talk there when I was talking about the brain, it's honest, it really needs some good fats. It needs that omega-3. It needs the omegas into your life, and we do not want to be on a low-fat diet. And over the years being in the Slimming Club, I did see a few cases, not loads, but well, actually there's a few things, but one of the things was ladies' nails becoming extremely brittle, and one lady's hair was dropping out. And when she went to the doctor, it was because she went ridiculous on the low fat. She wasn't having any fat. Then one of the regular symptoms we had as the low fat diet was constipation. And we do not want to be constipated. Well, no one does anyway, but generally at this time, we want to detox our body because, again, because of the estrogen being hoisted up and then the progesterone, when it's used up for itself, it then floats around like dead estrogen, if you like. And we don't want that floating around our body, because dead estrogen, as I call it, is harmful for the body and can create a presence or an environment where cancers can occur. So we need to poo it out, basically. So pooing is essential, and I'll do a whole talk about pooing because I do talk about it a lot. But the fats help us to poo in itself, and they help your brain, they help your head, your hair, your nails. You know, we need the fat. So we're talking nuts, seeds, chia seeds I've had this morning. I've had flaxseed on my porridge this morning as well. I try to get it all in the mornings. Fill my body up with all the goodness if you can at that time. So avocados is another one. Cook with your olive oil. And you know, oily fish. Eat oily fish is a lunchtime option. That's when I have that. Now, carbohydrates, your body is much more susceptible to gaining weight when you eat bread. And I've talked about this before, but I will talk about it until people actually do it. Because if you take 1 week, try not to buy any bread and go see what happens. See what happens. Usually, in my experience, ladies immediately lose a bloaty tummy. Immediately, like within 3 days, they'll notice less belly sort of bloat in that area. Because again, because of the hormones, your digestive system becomes much more susceptible to IBS or irritable, anything around your bowels and everything. So like I just said, so carbohydrates, especially gluten, can actually bloat us. Now, I'm not saying going on a gluten-free diet. You don't have to go that far. You need to test yourself. My husband is gluten-free. So in our house, we generally don't have much gluten. I might have some bread every now and then, but we're generally on a gluten-free. I'm not completely 100% with it, but he is, so we just eat like that. It's actually really easy to do these days. You just need to get bread out your life, and actually bread being in our lives, is it that efficient for our body? It really isn't. So finding ways to eat your lunch is the big thing. Again, my experience is about lunchtime's dead easy. Just grab some bread and chuck something in it, and then that's it. But these days it is so much easier. If you're out and about, I know we're not out and about, but this was my thing then, is where when you go out and you want to grab some lunch, it's so much easier now to grab a healthy version of what you need. So that's a good thing. Let me just stop the show because I think Margaret's trying to get in. Yes, here we go. Right, let me go back into share screen. Where are we at? We're nearly there. So 1 to 10, are you still scoring? Now, caffeine is one right at the end. These aren't as important to me. If you want to lose weight, caffeine isn't going to make any difference either way. But I've put it in there because there is a health implication if you drink too much. It's just one of those things. I needed to make it up to 10, really. So that's why I need to scrabble around to find a 9 and a 10. So your caffeinated drinks, if you have more than 5, they become dehydrating to the body. So you want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of water if you're going to do that, or swap it. or try and lower them. But there's also good health indicators to having 1 or 2 cups a day is actually really good for your body as well. So there's some good antioxidants in good quality coffee. So, you know, you don't have to take this out of your life. And often it's people find when they do, if you are a coffee and tea addict, please try to wean yourself off gently if you're going to do this, because I had one client who was actually in bed for 3 days from a caffeine withdrawal because he did it completely in one shot and it didn't do him any good. And then number 10 isn't something you need to do, but I want you to assess. So at this point, assess it. Where is your sleep quality now? This is why we're reviewing on the task 1. We're just looking at where we are now. So how would you assess your own sleep? Again, we've done a whole module, a whole month on sleep. If you want to look back on the videos, if it's something that you need to look at. But again, I would start with food anyway. So if we the next time we do this wheel, you start to look better at your scores on your wheel, then you will find that you may find that your sleep quality already automatically improves. But the sleep quality really relates to the caffeine. If you drink lots of caffeine, you may likely to not have great sleep. Again, you might be different. If you eat lots of sugar, often people don't have good sleep. I'm just going with generalizing because, again, not one thing suits everybody. So what you need to do now is just on your wheel, just join up your little stars where you've scored yourself and have a look at where you are. Where are you depleted the most? What's happening most on your wheel that you're not doing? Obviously, sugar is a weird score there. So just think, oh, that's really shouting at me there. I'm not drinking enough water. And then, like we talked about last week, to really break into your habit breaking or making good habits, look at just one of the spokes of the wheel and attack that one at a time. More about this in a moment, but we're going to look at also the review. If you want to, I am much more of a fan of taking your measurements rather than going on the scales. Now, because we're doing lots of great strength exercises in our classes online, you may find that your muscle is bulking up, not actually getting bigger, but becoming more dense. So a piece of a pound of fat, for instance, I had one somewhere, I don't know where it's gone, is about that dense, okay? But a pound of muscle is this size. So you'll see yourself shrinking, but the measurements on the scales won't move. And that's, you know, a good thing. So it's much more important that we look at your measurements. And when we did classes, we did have these special scales, body comp scales, which gave you your muscle mass, which was really interesting to see. I've still got those. They're under the desk at the moment. And then, what's this one say? Where are we? Hello. You're working. So just have a look at your measurements. Do them now. If you want to start this plan, you want to do it now. Have I stopped? So exercise. We've covered this. I've got you licked. You're done. If you do every session that I do, I'm making you, I'm helping you, assisting you in all of the levels that you need to do. Because what I used to hear was, I've joined the gym. I go all the time. Why can't I lose weight? Now, actually, exercise is a great companion to losing weight, but it isn't the main player. The main player, if you want to lose weight, is the body, the nutrition you put into it. But what it does do at this age is helps you human growth hormone, which is the hormone that makes you look young, keeps your skin looking good, and it also is the hormone that's released in sleep, and it helps to repair the body, and we want to keep that body repaired like we just talked about. Now, this is how to lose your belly fat. This is what we used to do in the old days. We had, oh, let's go on 1,000-calorie diet. Then we went, right, come on, go to the gym every day, or let's exercise every single day. Let's go mental. I'm really going to get fit and slim. And then they lost weight. That did happen. But what that wasn't doing was balancing the whole, well, the balance, the metabolism was balanced then at that point, but they couldn't keep up the less calories and exercising like crazy. Because at the end of the day, That's very stressful for the body. Now, I talked about cortisol and how it's stress related when we're at this age. So we don't want to hike up that cortisol even more. And if you eat less and exercise more, that's definitely something that happens to the body. So initially, like I said about the thermostat, this happens, it works. It actually, it's a trigger. It's like, oh, this is new. Right, okay, good, lose weight. But often people lost muscle mass rather than fat mass. So you'd get a skinny fat person, as we used to call them, and they didn't look toned. They just looked sort of less, but more flabby, if you like. And this was a normal thing. But then they used to regain the weight very much. So what we like to do now is we want to balance your metabolism to start with. And post-menopause or menopause and beyond generally is that we are balancing our metabolism for all sorts of other health reasons, let alone the loss of weight. But this is it's an everyday thing. Every day we're balancing our hormones, our metabolism, and it's all triggers together. So we want to do that bit first, and then we want to be smarter and stress lowering exercises, which again we do all the time in the at home group. And we want to naturally lower your calories by looking at your hunger levels and how you feel within yourself, and then you lose weight. And that's how we do it. Oh, this is just showing you some other hormones that are related to menopause. So your GABA, your dopamine, your serotonin, they can all fall because of the other hormones are changing. And these are ones that make you feel down if you don't have them. So a lot of times when ladies go to the GP because they've got symptoms, they'll give them antidepressants to give them serotonin back in. It doesn't always work. So what it's not about is the numbers on the scale. We don't want to be really standing on the scale. Forget the scale. Let's do body size. It's not about deprivation because that's going to stress the body. It's not about over-exercising because that also stresses the body. And it's not about being on a diet, because when you're on a diet, you get off the diet, and therefore it's just a short-term thing. This is a daily thing. This is every day of our lives. What it is about is appropriate muscle to fat ratio. So you want to get that muscle up, and we need to keep it there, maintain it, because muscle burns more calories when you're asleep. So if you're more of a muscly person, and we are building that all the time in our classes, your body will burn more fat when you're asleep. Anyway, if you're more of a fat, skinny person, your body doesn't burn as much fat. It's like the coal on a fire. So if you just put a wet log on the fire, it wouldn't burn as well. But if you put some really good quality coal, like a good muscle, it burns more fuel. Yeah. And then we balance our metabolic hormones, and we're going to lower the stress levels every day. And you can have chocolate because dark chocolate, 80% cocoa solids, has got really good antioxidants to help all of this, leveling out those insulin levels and everything. I've got quite a lot of slides to go through. I don't want to go on forever because I can't stop talking. Okay, we're going to go through the food bit. I won't go through the exercise bit because we're already doing that. So what types of food should you be eating to help you lose it? So let's look again. Let's recap. Satisfying protein breakfast. Salad-based lunch if you can, because you can get some veg in there. Make sure it's got good protein. Some nice oily fish is good. Snack, if you're going to have any snacks, protein if you can. Nuts and seeds, a little bit of meat. Sometimes if I've got some chicken left over, I'll just have a little go of that. And starchy carbs only once a day. Now, if you want to lose weight, I say have your starchy carbs, which are things like your bread, potatoes, rice, pasta. Have them once a day. That's it. If you don't want to lose weight and you feel okay with your weight, but you want to level out your metabolism for all the other hormonal reasons, your brain and your heart and whatever, you can have them twice a day. So there we go, there's the plate. And in this little book, it has shown a picture of the plate. It's a bit different to the plate that you see on the website of the NHS, because now we only want that much of starch or fat on your plate. Tiny bit, 10%. Your vegetables want to be 50%, and your lean protein for the rest. There's an example of a salad that I had one lunchtime. I've got some balsamic glaze on there. I really love using that. Okay, so also look at your carbs. Keep to vegetables and salad. Now I've put a pound of veg a day. It's a big ask, that is. So it's an aim. It's an aim. Don't worry if you don't do it, and don't do it all in one first day, because you'll notice through your bowels that that's happened. So be careful with that one. But your vegetables and salad, really go for it. Like I say, 30 different varieties a week is what we're after. Different colours, nice variety of antioxidants. Non-sugary fruits, but try to only have 2 a day. I mentioned that in the have I put that down? Yeah. So you only need 2 pieces of fruit, mainly because fructose is still sugar. Even though it's a natural sugar, fructose will challenge your hormones like normal sugar. And cut out those starchy carbs, or just have them once a day. And high protein, so keeps us satisfied, it helps to maintain your muscle mass and keeps your metabolic rate high, which is what we're after. So here we go with some beige carbs. Ban the beige is what I say. I always say that to my ladies, you know, it's a buffet, a British buffet. There's nothing on it, is there? You got your sausage rolls. This is coming up though, isn't it? Because it's Christmas. Well, maybe because we're locked down and we can't really socialize. This won't happen this year. Hooray! That's some positive. But you know, your beige buffets are just full of it, and you think about the amount of this stuff we've eaten over the past, and how does it make you feel? So try to cut out those non-fibery carbs, which are there's a picture of them there. And your heck, so is your hunger and your energy and your cravings, are they in check? Again, in the little booklet, it talks more about that. I want you to ask yourself after a meal, has it done those little things? Has it made your hunger satisfied? You know, has it satisfied it? What does your energy feel like? Is it, are beige carbs making you feel tired? Because generally they do. You know, they can make you feel sleepy. So if you have a bread heavy lunch, often by 2 o'clock you're like nodding off. Is that you? And can you change that and notice what your heck does after eating vegetables, salad, or a nice big vegetable soup with some chickpeas in it or something? I'm just throwing some ideas there. So smart carb approach, ban the beige, Goldilocks, not too much and not too little. Tweaking is the key here. Like I said, this is the difficulty. There's not one thing that suits all. You've got to try it, test it. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, that does work. But it's a lot of change. You need to just start to build those in. Drinking your water, eat farm to plate as much as you can, eat less processed foods, pay attention to your gut health. Now we're going to do a whole week on gut health because it's a big subject, but generally eating what I just said, it will help to start with. Now this is your exercise. You just do what we do and it's all covered for you. And I've talked about this weekly activity sheet and how stress reducing exercise is the most important thing. So what have you got booked in your diary this week that is going to help chill you out? I've got a friend yesterday, called 2 ladies from my classes and had a lovely long chat in the afternoon. I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to do that again. It really helped me feel calm. And at this time through these lockdowns, you know, I think everyone's noticed their cortisol levels. Almost taste it, can't you, sometimes? So notice that's a big part of it. So here we go through about this. Recovery is your step 4. So cortisol is a stress hormone that when elevated depletes lean muscle mass and holds onto the fat in the abdominal region. So that's it in a nutshell here. If we're less stressed, we're going to have less abdominal fat. So you need to listen to your body and know what it needs. So recovery, relaxation is important. You're important. Your body's important. It's the only one we've got. And this is your time. So some ideas there about lowering cortisol levels. We've got other talks all about this anyway. So I'm not going to cover this very deeply. It's more about the food today. There is another little bit that is coming up and coming. This is more relevant in the States at the moment about environmental toxins and what they're doing to our systems. And so these are things like chemicals in your toiletries and your cleaning products. What are you using? You know, through your skin, your body still absorbs nutrients, if you like. and if they're chemicals, your liver is going to be compromised. So just check that. And processed foods. In the States, they talk a lot about fish and how fish does have a lot of chemicals in it if it's highly farmed. And be kind to your body. So in January, we are going to do a 7-day restart program, which is especially for your age group. And I have got recipes for every day. So this is a restart. Just like I say, when I lay out my 7-day plans, they're just for 7 days. And then I want you to go off on your own. It's like, I don't want to lead you, but then I want you to fly because, you know, I can't be there all the time. And I've seen it in the slimming clubs where I've led them the whole time. One lady lost 11 stone in 6 months. That's wrong. 6 stone in 11 months. I've got it there. And she was with me every single step of the way. And then she gained it all again because she left. And I wasn't with her. So, you know, it's a big responsibility for me to hold your hand all the time. I don't want to hold your hand the whole time. That's not what it's about. This isn't good for you or me. So 7 days, yes, I'll give you a plan, breakfast, lunch and dinner, snacks if you need them. And that we're going to do it in January. It's brand new. It's got recipes, the shopping list, and it has the plan all set out for you. And we're going to do every day in the morning, I don't know what time yet, daily Tone in 10 online workout. So it'll be a Facebook Live and we'll be going away. So the reason, and I'm going to do, oh, I've put live meditations there. I don't think I'll be doing that bit, so forget that. Lovely. So let me stop the recording.